What is up, homies? Welcome back to another trailer reaction from Heroes Reforged. We are, of course, watching the brand new trailer for Avengers Doomsday. And if you made it through the Doomsday of trying to get tickets, congratulations. I was able to get a couple of tickets there for long after the movie comes out, but excited to see that in 3D and in Dolby. I'm excited to check out this trailer. I was not the biggest fan of the teasers, mostly because I just kind of thought that they were a lot of nothing. It was just like flavor, which is fine. Like for a teaser trailer a year before, it's fine. But I am looking forward to seeing like an actual trailer that's gonna give us a little bit more about what this movie is about.
Yeah, dude, I don't know. I do not envy the people at Marvel Studios whose job it is to like market this movie. Not to say because it's like indecipherable or, you know, you don't want to reveal any secrets, but it's this thing of like, no matter what you do, I think this movie is kind of in the red and it's in the negative. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm too much on the internet, but I do feel as though this movie to general audiences, they know that the gimmick of bringing back Robert Downey Jr. is a gimmick. General audiences are still interested in that. They're still excited because it's a damn good gimmick. But I think general audiences versus going into like Avengers Infinity War, which I know was a completely different context, but even with Infinity War, I felt like you kind of understood with the marketing, with the slow buildup of the movies beforehand. Oh, this is the Thanos thing. This is like this is the final battle. This is the big Avengers. Like all the characters are going to be in it, and the big gimmick for that movie was the Avengers finally meet the Guardians of the Galaxy. They're going to show up. With this, it's like they've been pushing the Fox XMen universe. I don't know that it has the reverence that this movie is sort of treating this universe as. And maybe I'm being duped by the marketing because ultimately this universe is being set up to be destroyed, in which case it's like, that's interesting that they would bring in, you know, the old X-Men universe, possibly this new Fantastic Four universe, and possibly the reason that they set up this new Fantastic Four in a new universe, like we've talked about before. We've talked about all this stuff before, Adam, that like it's all going to be to kind of kill these universes off to set up the stakes as higher than they've ever been, and then jump into the next Avengers movie and then fix everything and wrap everything out. But maybe I'm feeling a little salty with this too, and it's like I am also really looking forward to this, but more than anything, I'm looking forward to this team landing this plane and us moving on to the next thing. I'm sorry to this man. I'm sorry to Robert Downey Jr. He is a phenomenal actor. I am gonna be seated to see him perform this, but he is Iron Man. He's not Doctor Doom. And so far, the marketing with what it's been, and maybe I'm talking out of my ass because they're about to show me in this trailer, the marketing has been like, he's Doctor Doom. And I'm like, stop lying to me. This is the same as Spider-Man Far From Home with the Elementals. Don't lie to me. I know who Mysterio is. Don't tell me this isn't some variant of Tony Stark, that it isn't like a story reason that he is Tony Stark, but now as Doctor Doom. And once we move past this, there will be another actor playing Doctor Doom at some point. There will be a quote-unquote real Doctor Doom, and this is like a TVA, time variance, multiversal thing. I also agree with, I know we've had disagreements with our pal Augustine. I also understand the notion of like, hey, before just jumping into Marvel Studios' version of X-Men, let's pause, let's enjoy the multiverse because we can bring back these other actors, Hugh Jackman and everybody, to take a victory lap and to celebrate them while they're here. And you know, what is it? Ian McKellen's like 87 and Patrick Stewart's like, Sir Patrick Stewart, I think is 90?
I think
something
so.
Like that. It's like, it's wild. And I understand, again, the idea of like, yeah, but we can have some fun and we can have Chris Evans play the Human Torch one last time. You know, I get it. I get the appeal. But I just want them to land this and have it be emotional and have it be something that surprises people. And as soon as this Doctor Doom explanation is revealed, for audiences to go, oh, okay, that makes sense. And then just get into the story, buy into the story and go on from there. I don't want it to be an overly convoluted thing. I just want it to be, I just want this movie to work for so many reasons. And I have confidence that it will. Again, I'm just more looking forward to like the era of Marvel where your friend isn't texting you like, oh, well, it's this movie, you know, like I'm looking forward to that. And we'll see if we can ever, but if that's where we are for the rest of time, then that's fine. Then it's up to Marvel Studios to just make great movies and great TV shows and great projects that audiences will have no choice but to stan. So we'll see if we can get back to that point.
And with all that out of the way,
do it.
You ready to check out this trailer?
Sure.
All right, here we go. In 3, 2, 1, go.
Ooh.
Something's coming. Something we may not be able to deter.
A snake crawler.
This
Gotta be.
day is done.
I think this is Doom.
We shall be faced with an unthinkable decision.
Oh, snap. Why do you think that was a German accent?
This is his Latvian accent.
Right.
Whoa.
I've fought with many warriors in my time. They were far stronger
Damn.
than all of us put together, and they died. They
Amor.
died facing enemies and threats that scared me far less than this one.
Oh, damn, okay. All right, that's fun. Come on.
Everything that they sacrificed will be for nothing
Ooh.
if we do not stand together. Put aside your petty squabbles.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
I presume nothing except this.
That's a fun matchup.
If you return, you will return as brothers and sisters.
Oh, okay. I like that.
But mark my words,
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Damn.
we're going to need
Everyone.
Hey, pal.
It's not possible.
Tony.
Oh, it's Cap.
Yes.
Come on. See it in our certified theaters that we put a giant fucking banner over. 4 months, 27 days, 15 hours, 59 minutes, and 54 seconds. Okay.
I'm behind. I got to catch up on rewatching all my Marvel movies. I got to catch up.
So from like just my immediate reaction to the trailer is that it has, like I was saying, this very like somber tone. And the first thing we see is what I'm assuming is an incursion, maybe, of Xavier's world being potentially destroyed. So I think just from kind of what I'm picking up on from this trailer is it's obviously going to lead to as many of the surviving characters across the Marvel multiverse there are, who will all basically come into the sacred timeline. And it's their responsibility to work together as 3-4 different teams, Avengers, Fantastic Four, X-Men, to preserve our timeline as much as possible and to prevent Doctor Doom from destroying it. Which, if that's the case, then like as a premise alone, like that sounds cool.
Yeah.
And if the Avengers, like, you know, we get shots of Thor in, I don't know what that is, if it's like time at the end of time or some other like realm that he's in when he's fighting Doctor Doom. I like that. Like, I think it's cool that some characters are going to face off with Doctor Doom independently, and we're going to have to kind of see, like, it almost feels like, because Thor is the most classic Avengers character in this story, truthfully. Like, there's no Iron Man. There's, you know, like Captain America's not there anymore.
It's him and Steve Rogers, right?
Right. Like, we don't really know what the status is of the Incredible Hulk. Black Widow's dead. So it really is kind of Thor that is like the through line from the beginning of the Marvel Cinematic Universe to now. And I know he's probably, I don't think they're necessarily going to put him in the position of like a leader of the Avengers. Maybe they will, I don't know, because he is like the OG of OGs. But I think there's a lot to be said about that character being the central character who's now the first one potentially to face off with someone like Doctor Doom. And it's his responsibility to unite everyone together. And, you know, like getting that shot of Chris Evans at the end, like we already knew he was going to be on the movie based on the teaser trailer that we saw last year during Avatar. To actually see him and to see him wielding Mjolnir, I mean, it is cool. Is it the same Steve Rogers who ends up in the alternate timeline with Peggy? I'm assuming it probably is.
So.
Like, why would it not be? Why would they go with a completely different Steve Rogers? So, yeah, I mean, I think like, I don't think that the trailer has me super hyped for the movie. Like, I'm not overly hyped for the movie. I'm still kind of in the, like, I'm curious. I'm interested. It's cool to see Gambit and Shang-Chi fighting and duking it out. It's cool to see the Fantastic Four.
What?
Great to see
Why
Namor.
is that,
Great
do
to
you
see the
think,
people
Adam?
of Wakanda.
What is it that's keeping you from being like hyped to a level?
I think
that
it's just
that
the
maybe
baggage
we
of
would have been in the
like
past.
I just think it's the baggage of how we've been talking about Marvel for the last 5 years. And
Sure.
like there definitely are projects that have happened in phase 4, 5. Are we in phase 6 yet? Or is this going to be the end of phase 5?
This is phase 6.
This is phase 6.
This is phase 6.
So,
Yeah.
you know, like there are definitely projects between the 3 phases that I have enjoyed. Like I've liked some of the movies and I've liked some of the shows. We fucking love X-Men 97. And I understand that that's not, you know, like that's its own thing because it's
Right.
it's in its own universe and everything. But, you know, like I love that. I
yeah.
love Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. So there's definitely pockets of the stuff that Marvel's been doing for the last, you know, let's say 8 years since Endgame that I do enjoy. Like I really liked Thunderbolts. But there is some stuff that I have not enjoyed as much. Like some of it's good, some of it I'm like, it's okay. Some of it I'm like, this is not memorable to me at all. In terms of like my nostalgia, I'm really excited to see the classic X-Men, like to see James Marsden in that classic Cyclops suit. That's fucking cool. How long were we asking for that shit? Like our entire childhood and adult life. We're like, just put James Marsden in that blue and yellow suit. God damn it. Put Wolverine in that suit.
It's also fun to see Gambit face off against Shang-Chi. I heard that this is what was showed at CinemaCon or whatever it was. This is probably that trailer.
Right.
And that's one of the projects I've loved is Shang-Chi. And it's been one of the frustrations being such a fan of that movie that like
is the sequel?
We've not seen that character. I know. And I've also loved like Spider-Man No Way Home. And I've loved Black Panther Wakanda Forever. And I've loved certain other aspects of, like, I would say that I really, really, really liked Thunderbolts. Didn't quite love it, but I think it's fantastic. But the issue with Thunderbolts too is it felt a little bit like kind of more personal and lower stakes to the sort of larger Marvel universe. And I love a big movie that is able to kind of push stuff forward. And then again, the reverse of that is something like Eternals happened where there's this big celestial sticking out of the ocean and then it's never touched on for any other movie after that, it feels like, until we get to Captain America and then they acknowledge it. Also this morning, dude, even before I got a message from you, I got a text from a buddy that was like, hey, this trailer came out and he's a pal. This is not like an animosity thing, but he was like, hey, this trailer came out and we're having a lot of fun making fun of it. Can't wait to see you, Hector. Like, we're going to make fun of it in front of you. Like, we're going to make fun of this to your face kind of a thing.
I unfortunately am seeing that on social media too.
Right. And it's like, look, I'm all for it because two things. Number one, whatever. If it means that this movie's going to generate memes, that never means that like it's indicative of bad quality, right? Oppenheimer generated memes and that's the highest caliber, you know, whatever, Oscar nominated. So it doesn't mean anything. But number two, I think it also means that, like I said, this movie's a little bit in the red. This movie has an uphill battle of convincing people that like Marvel is good again, because it doesn't matter the like objective reality of the quality of these movies. It doesn't matter if you do look at them project by project and go, okay, well, this show was great. This show was great. This film was great. It doesn't matter. Right now, the general consensus on the Marvel franchise is that it's bad. It's not where it used to be 10 years ago. And so the second thing I'll say is I do enjoy that because I do want Marvel Studios to be the underdog. I don't want them to be king of the mountain. I don't want them to rest on their laurels. I don't want them to be complacent. You know, I want them to, and whether or not DC Studios is the competition that it needs to be right now to really like fire them up, doesn't matter. Just for their own sake, I would rather them be the studio that people are like, I don't know, so that they can surprise audiences again. They can come out with something as great as Black Panther and people go, we have no choice but to think this is good versus, but that means a lot. It means that you can't have movies like Captain America, Brave New World. You can't, you gotta have just banger after banger after banger. And so, yeah, but it is a weird thing to be like, yeah, I'm looking forward to this. Yes, I like the X-Men. Yes, I like all these characters. I love all these actors.
Asterisk.
But as a Marvel fan, I'm like, yes, but I just want them to land this plane, kind of get everybody to understand the multiverse is over. We did it to varying degrees of success. Don't worry about it. And moving on to the next thing, the marketing is going to be, hey, this is the new Marvel universe. And I don't actually want it to be the new Marvel universe. I just want the marketing to reflect that. And I just want regular people to feel like, oh, did you see that it was rebooted? And me going, yeah, you fool. Go ahead and think it was rebooted. It wasn't. Just go see new movies. Just go see it. Just feel as though you have a weight lifted off your shoulders. Just go see new stuff that seems interesting to you. That's it. So I'm a little fired up, but it is a bummer when you wake up and your buddy's like, LOL's this movie, and you're like, great, man, like that's where we're at. Like,
Oh God.
good luck to these folks. I do have faith in the team, and I think that they know exactly where they're at more than anybody, and they know that this needs to be great. So
totally. And I mean, there was just an interview with Kevin Feige this morning with Joshua Horowitz, because he's doing the publicity run for Spider-Man right now. And, you know, he was asking him about Blade specifically. And he was like, look, I love that we brought back Wesley Snipes. It makes me feel great. It makes me feel like a loser that we can't get that Mahershala Ali movie done. And I'm like, all right, I mean, they're aware. It's not like they put plugs into their ears and they're not listening and watching what the internet is saying. They're very plugged in. I mean, we know from our experience, Kevin Feige goes to the opening weekend of so many big blockbuster and highly anticipated movies because he wants to see what the audience reaction is. And he also probably wants to see, like, who are these actors? Who's this director? Who produced this? So he can bring them into the Marvel fold and maybe like make other projects with them. So they are super hyper aware, maybe sometimes a little too aware. But I still think, and I've said this before, and I don't remember what video I said it on, is that, and maybe it was an X-Men review that I said, despite all of their ups and downs, the thing that I at least respect about Marvel is that they constantly are moving forward. They're not going, well, these last 3 movies flopped, so let's reboot this franchise with new actors or whatever. They're still like, no, we're just going to keep moving forward. We're going to keep these actors as these characters. Maybe we'll swap out writers and directors, but we're just going to keep moving forward. And I think you kind of just have to do that. And as good as we remember Phase 1 to be, it also had its ups and downs. Yeah, the Avengers 1 was the thing that everybody was like, oh, this is cool. I like this. Iron Man 3 came out and everybody was like, I don't know. Or The Dark World came out. I don't know. So it's not like they've had a perfect track record since 2008. They've definitely had their ups and downs. I think now, because we're inundated with so much more Marvel stuff between the shows and the movies, it feels exhausting when multiple projects come out a year and let's say 50% of them are not good. It's like, bro, slow down. Stop putting out so much stuff. Like, take a breather. So I'm hoping that they really continue to do that and put out maybe like 1 or 2 quality shows a year, 1 or 2 movies. Don't do more than like 5 projects. I just feel like if you oversaturate, I think that's what's going to create that fatigue that people are feeling, or that feeling of, oh, there's so much homework to keep up with this damn thing. So anyways.
I mean, I agree. And it's like, and I love saying goodbye to the previous Marvel movies that are not MCU movies as much as anybody. But, and again, I'm sure it's going to be awesome when I see a bunch of these characters and actors like Rebecca Romaine gets to come back and play Mystique one more time. And, you know, Ian McKellen and Patrick Stewart, who does not love these actors? These are phenomenal actors that are playing characters that I adore. And yet I still feel, no matter what, that they're bringing that baggage of like, these characters from a universe that I don't think quite hit the mark in terms of what the X-Men were from the comics or what the X-Men could be. Yeah, I think in terms of what this trailer's doing, I feel like it is a little bit confirming stuff we knew in terms of like who's in the movie, and getting to see them is great. And it's also, I think the big moment, the big revelation in this is like, oh, Thor going up against Doctor Doom has no shot. Doctor Doom just puts up 2 fingers, blocks Stormbreaker, blocks the hammer. Like, that is crazy. And that's a kind of like, that's Thanos kicking Hulk's ass shit that you need to establish to tell the audience, like, well, this is who this bad guy is. This bad guy, very bad. This bad guy, very bad. Very strong, very bad. Gonna be real tough. I like that. And I also like the various, like, you know, the interactions between the characters who you did not expect to meet. Of course, the other interesting thing I want to talk about Loki is we see Loki in like a TVA outfit, not in the God of Stories outfit that he's in with his nice little sandals. As
but it
he's
wasn't
sitting
the
in the
concept art that Andy
Loki.
Park put out.
Yeah, that's true. So I wonder if like if that Loki, if that God of Stories, will then just like get into a more comfortable TVA outfit to go on some adventure or something, to go on part of this, to join these characters for something, and then he'll revert and go back to the Loki God of Stories. I don't know, but I don't think it's going to be. I think it'll be that Loki post that season 2. I don't think this Loki is something that like, oh, and also of somewhere of season 1, he went and had this adventure and then came back and had his mind wiped or something. It's that. I think it's good. This is Loki post to everything we saw, him rejoining the story of these characters because of how high these stakes indeed are. So yeah, but now we're hearing Dr. Doom's voice. It's good, and it sounds like Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah.
And Robert Downey Jr.,
I don't really have any notes on the voice, truthfully.
No, it's I can nitpick and go, look, man, Robert Downey Jr. has his voice and he's doing a great accent with that voice. But I have always heard Doctor Doom having a deeper voice because Robert Downey Jr. just has a little bit of a lighter sounding voice, which is fine. Again, it's that nitpicky thing that's like, all right, this is the variant of Tony Stark. This is, we'll see. I don't know if there will be honestly, a secret surprise. Like, I know Tony Stark is dead, but this is the multiverse. Will there be a moment where they need help from some character from some universe and it's Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark stepping out of that portal going, hey, I'm here to help against my own self, Dr. Doom, That's possible too. And that could be a sort of audience pop that they could hold from any marketing. When you go to the movie, that's going to make audiences go, this movie fucking rules. Oh my God. They could do that. No idea. They could save that for Secret Wars. No idea.
Though.
Well, it depends on how the movie is set up to look. Cap was retired and it's younger Cap before that retirement, you know? And I think that you're right that it's that same Steve Rogers. So it's not a thing of like, oh, the Steve Rogers who sat on that bench and gave Sam that shield. In fact, I've said this before, but I think part of the reason Steve gives Sam the shield is because this Steve, at a younger point in his life, is going to look over and see Sam Wilson as Captain America, and he's going to go, of course
you're worthy.
He's going to go, duh, of course you're worthy. Like, you're the guy. So that later, when you go back and watch Avengers Endgame, and he hands him his shield and goes like, and Sam goes, this feels like it's someone else's. And Steve says, it isn't. He's literally speaking from experience, like he met Sam Wilson, Captain America, and went on this adventure that we're about to see. But I think that's going to be different than if the movie sets up something to the degree of, man, I sure wish Tony was here. Tony's gone. Yes, he is. But another character will say, but not this other Tony. But not, Reed Richards will say, but not my universe is Tony. And they go to the 60s universe and it's a Robert Downey Jr. coming out with like a 60s version of the Iron Man armor. I don't know. But if the movie sets something up to be like, hey, audience, relax. It's okay. This isn't the Tony Stark that we're bringing back to life and just keeping. This is another cameo pop who's going to join us in the final fight. And at the end, he's going to say goodbye and journey back into his universe. And we're going to close up all the portals of the multiverse. And we're never going to do multiverse stuff again. Depends on how they do it. We might still get that. The only reason I say all of this because on top of just being a great actor, there has to be a significant reason for bringing back Robert Downey Jr. other than just, well, he's a great actor and he was the only actor who could play Dr. Doom. Bullshit. It's going to be because he was also Iron Man. That's going to be a big part of the story. And still haven't like confirmed that or explained that in a trailer yet because they're saving it for the movie, because maybe they're saving it for Secret Wars, because honestly, maybe Spider-Man's truly not in this, Tom Holland, Peter Parker, until the end, until a mid-credit scene when all the incursions are happening and the Marvel Cinematic Universe sacred timeline itself is being destroyed, and Peter swings by and he's like, oh my God, and finally gets wrapped up into the story. Cut to a year from now, the next movie, Peter will encounter Dr. Doom with his mask off and comment on the fact that it's Mr. Stark, it's Tony. And then the movie will explain, no, actually, it was Tony who was born in the U.S. and then moved to Latveria and was raised and adopted by the Von Dooms. It's going to be something like that. That's like, this is a world where what if Tony Stark became Dr. Doom, which is a really scary idea. It's a very, very bad thing because of how smart and capable Tony is. Added to that, the background of Victor Von Doom and his sorcery and his tech. They're going to say something like that. And then we'll go, okay, can we move on? Let's enjoy the movie. Here's Dr. Doom. He's a big bad guy. I don't know. I clearly have a lot of thoughts about this movie, Adam. There's a lot of things swirling around in me. Yes, I think
that's
you're
why
right
we do these videos, baby.
That's why we do it. It's a little therapy session. But the initial takeaway is the best and most important takeaway. This is somber. This is a movie that is going to, I think, recapture the feeling of everybody being dusted in Infinity War. When audiences were like, no way, they're actually killing these characters off. And as comic book fans, again, we're like, yeah, good. Think everybody's dead, you idiots. You don't know. They're going to come back. I mean, we all kind of knew. But the same thing's going to happen here. Characters will die. Entire universes will be wiped out. There will be remnants. There will be characters from like, to Gambit, Cyclops, probably Beast, probably Mystique will have survived. Maybe Xavier and Magneto will die as they stay back in their native universe. No. But it's going to get that feeling of like, I can't believe they're going there just for the next film to have the heroes triumphantly, heroically return and save the universes and save the whole reality. But this is somber. This is setting up the stakes, giving you those pops of which characters you're going to see. Can't wait to see Shang-Chi with those 10 rings, man. I miss that
So
guy.
good,
It's going to
man.
be so much
So
fun.
good.
So much fun. I don't know
yeah,
who to root for. I want
It's
him
been
to
too
kick
long
Gambit's
since we've
ass. I don't
seen
know who to root
Simu
for.
Liu, so I like need to
Yes.
see him back in the Marvel universe doing his thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, and there's
Yeah.
definitely characters that we still don't know the whereabouts of certain characters. Like we don't know where like Stephen Strange is. We don't know where Wong is. We don't know where, there's tons of characters that still have not made an appearance.
Yes.
And I don't remember.
Yeah.
I actually don't remember if Benedict Cumberbatch and Benedict Wong were announced in the chair sequence. I think they might.
They
have
were not.
been.
I don't think they were.
Oh, okay.
They were not. So it's another thing where like it feels like Doctor Strange and Wong of all people would be in this story, right? It feels like they should be there. I think they'll be in Secret Wars. I think that this is a movie that the same way like Endgame just focused on the remaining heroes and it was like the original 6 Avengers plus some others like Ant-Man and so on.
Right.
I think this movie's trying to focus on who we can in this first part, and maybe a bunch of them will die. And let's focus on the X-Men universe. Let's focus on the Fantastic Four universe. And then I think Secret Wars is going to be the more of the, hey, everyone who was missing from part 1, they're here in part 2. They're back.
Right.
So,
yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
I mean, like generally, again, I'm excited to see just what the continuation of the Marvel universe is and to see, I mean, we even get when these characters are united in the same room, you see that there is an incursion coming. Like there's a gravitational pull in the middle of 3 universes that are pulling these Earths together. So it'll be interesting to see like what that is. And I'm assuming it's the X-Men universe, the Fantastic Four universe, and then our Sacred Timeline. Yeah. So however they set up that story, it'll be interesting. But it's all, and I think this also just plays into the fact that like everything about this movie is on a timer. Like there's a countdown for everything. And I think in the context of the story of the film, it will be ultimately them trying to fight the clock to prevent these 3 universes from colliding together. So yeah, I mean, I like, again, on paper, conceptually, all of that stuff sounds really fun. It's very comic booky. And I think it's pretty appropriate for that to be sort of the final element of what the Multiverse Saga is. Like if the Multiverse Saga is about the multiverse colliding onto itself, then like, yeah, of course you want to prevent that as much as you can. And I know that, Kevin Feige has cited Secret Wars and especially the most recent Hickman run and all kinds of stuff. So yeah, I mean, I think there's there's so many different directions you can go. There's so many little details you can pull apart from all these different comic book references and context of the film. But I think and I think this has always been the case with Marvel. I think the difference now is we are kind of going into it with a little bit more like, hey, you need to win me over. You really need to win me over that this is going to be worth my time. Whereas before, I think we all went into it going, I'm seated. I'm seated no matter what. I mean, everyone's going to buy their tickets no matter what, but everyone's going to be seated out of interest, less out of like, I'm 100% just purely hyped. So that'll be interesting. I do want to touch on Infinity Vision because I know people have been asking me about it since I'm a formats guy.
You're the
Infinity Vision is
guy.
like it's a weird thing because it truly is only because Avengers Doomsday is not getting an IMAX release because it is coming out the exact same day as Dune Part 3. And I do think that they are leaning into it with this marketing because they specifically at the back end of the trailer say 12/18/26 is Doomsday. So they're really trying to like stick it to Warner Brothers and say, you think that you're going to play in our ball in our court? This is going to be our day. And I'm like, that's fine. It's completely there's absolutely a huge crossover between audiences, but there is also like a diehard audience for both. I think a lot of people, people particularly like us, I'm going to buy a ticket to go see Avengers Doomsday in 3D, and I'm going to walk across the hallway and go see Dune Part 3 in IMAX 70mm because I don't give a shit about the rivalry. I give a shit. I care that it's like my responsibility as a movie fan and a movie watcher to support both of these titles, regardless of the fact that they're coming out the same day. So that's the whole thing with Infinity Vision. They're not getting an IMAX release. So they created this certification that basically says like, hey, we think Prime at AMC is worthy of our film, and it's the best experience you're going to get because it's laser projection, it may have Dolby Atmos sound, and it's going to be on the biggest screens. Same goes for RPX, XD, some Real D 3D theaters, and Dolby Cinemas, which in my opinion, Dolby Cinemas should be everyone's number one priority because I still think that even though I like some of the other projection systems, I still think it's like the best of the best. But that's all it is. It's just a certification that says this theater whatever this theater is, whether it's like City Walk or Burbank 16, it has auditoriums within it that we certify as being part of Infinity Vision that you'll get the best experience of. At the end of the day, it doesn't really fucking matter. Just go to the movie and see the movie wherever you can see it.
Yeah.
I know that that's like a big thing with like Odyssey that people are getting hung up on. And I'm like, look, if you have the privilege and the ability to see it in these specialized premium formats, go. If you don't, a standard ass regular fucking projector is going to be just as good.
Yeah. And for me, like Infinity Vision, IMAX, Dolby, all that stuff is cool. But I also am like, the most important format for me is going to be seeing these movies in 3D. It's the most fun experience for me. I think it's the coolest way to watch a Marvel movie.
Incredibly immersive.
Sometimes we'll get more really immersive. You notice more details. And again, coming from the world where we used to do that, I know how much work goes into it. I know how much care goes into it. And I really appreciate and respect all those artists that work on that side of it that I think never get enough credit. And I think that they do shit to make the movie even more fun. If you're going to watch a fantastical, I wish Dune Part 3 was in 3D, and I wish Part 2 was in 3D, because my favorite version of Dune is the 3D version from Dune Part 1. So if you're going to watch a movie that is a science fiction, fantasy, larger than life, a spectacle, a thing that feels like a Martin Scorsese, as he says, theme park ride, a thing that feels like it's got a lot of CG in it, and a lot of like fake backgrounds because they're using CG and they're using the volume and they're using green screen and they're using all of that stuff. To me, if you're going to go and enjoy a film like that and try to suspend your disbelief that people have superpowers and shit, do it in 3D because the 3D just helps to sell that even just a smidgen more, just a little bit more. So that's my favorite way to watch these movies. And again, it's the same thing of like, I'm speaking to my friends in New Zealand right now. They don't have like 3D screenings anymore.
Right.
Like it's become so hard for them to find even a 3D screening. Talking to a buddy who was like, they don't have any for Spider-Man, dude. I'm so pissed. And I'm like, that sucks. And that's not fair. And that's really such a bummer. So same thing, if you have the privilege if you're near a movie theater that's got a 3D version, I'm imploring you, go see this movie in 3D. Hopefully it'll be released afterwards on 3D Blu-ray. Not that anybody watches them except me. Hopefully Japan is still cranking those suckers out.
Movie next. Let's go, baby. We need them.
Dude, with every new Marvel movie, I'm scared that it'll be the last one.
Right.
So, Fantastic Four First Steps on 3D Blu-ray, imported from Japan. Fingers crossed for Spider-Man. It's probably not going to be the case because Spider-Man No Way Home wasn't, except it kind of was. Yeah, because it's Sony and we'll see. And anyway, so yeah, go enjoy the 3D movie and then afterwards watch it in any and all formats. Infinity Vision, Disney, TM, copyright, Super Walt Disney, Mega Certified Vision.
Big double DXL. I don't give a shit.
Whatever. Absolutely, man. We got that big Disney D. Whatever you need, guys.
Exactly.
But I'm going for the 3D first. I need my 3Ds first.
Yeah, absolutely. I know. I totally agree. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I mean, there will obviously be another trailer. Comic-Con is only a couple days away. Saturday Hall H panel. I'm going to try to be in there. It's going to be really tough to get into that panel this year, even as press, because I think everyone and their mother is going to want to be in there because, like you said, they're going to announce stuff for this movie. They're going to bring out these actors. Yeah. It's going to be a victory lap, for some of these actors, and they're probably going to announce some things for Secret Wars. But I don't want to get too overly excited and overhyped because I think that they're still going to keep things pretty close to the chest and they're going to be a little vague. And I almost am not expecting to even see a timeline until Secret Wars comes out. I think they're just going to be focused on these two Avengers movies. So we'll see. Guys, let us know your thoughts in the comments below. How are you feeling about the trailer? How are you feeling about everything related to Marvel and Comic-Con? What are you guys hoping to see or hoping that they announce? It's an hour-long panel, so some shit will go down, but we'll see what happens. Check out everything else we're watching. We'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!
That's why we are watching.